Hello there. Welcome to Almost 30 Podcast, your
Hi,
podcast of choice today.
hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Lindsay and Krista. We're super glad you're here.
Super glad.
Welcome. We've been hearing the buzz about morning microdose, which is so cool. It
Mhm.
feels like it's doing its thing out there.
100%. And also, I'm waiting for everyone else to copy the idea. I'm just waiting.
Don't say it.
I'm waiting for everybody to copy the
I
idea.
feel like Tim Ferriss is doing it. He
Really?
didn't. He didn't copy us, but
He's doing that?
I mean, it's a great idea.
Clips, like a clips
Uh huh.
podcast?
Uh huh.
Damn. See, that's the thing is I don't even really look at what anyone else is doing. So if they were copying me or not, I wouldn't even really know.
Totally. I actually, because when I think of morning microdose, I think of it as like its own entity. So like
Hmm.
I kind of forget. I know it's obviously clips from Almost 30, but it's like these moments in the show where like they're so standalone that
Yes.
it kind of has its
Yeah,
own
totally.
flav.
Yeah.
So
Our old intern messaged me. She's like, "Oh my god, I thought you guys were selling microdose.
I
Like,
know
I thought you were
everybody,
selling psilocybin because you guys were
everybody.
talking about it so much." I'm like, "I'm wondering what the
I
cash
know
flow
you're
would
you're
be on
like,
that."
let's add.
Yeah, I'm like, I honestly wouldn't mind it depending on how much we would make. But no, Morning Microdose is a new podcast from Almost 30. It's basically the best of the best, 5 to 7 minutes, inspiring moments, quotes, actionable, parts of the pod.
Yeah. And it was inspired. Krista and I were on a walk in Austin and we were talking about, I had been listening to Infinite Intelligence from
Mhm.
Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham Hicks. And it was just that idea of like, I loved having something in the morning, whether it was that short form
Mhm.
podcast or like taking at like reading a couple pages of a book
Mhm.
or finding like a YouTube channel that I could just like kind of drink in for a few minutes. And it was just that like intentional consumption rather than going to my phone and just scrolling. So we were like, how can we, repurpose so much of what we've done? We have almost 600 episodes. So we and our team like went into the archives and just pulled those vortex moments. All of our guests are like, "Wait, what just happened in there?" And we're like,
Mhm.
"I know." So we pulled those moments and we are releasing Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, every single morning. So you can just take a little trip with us.
I'm excited. I'm excited too to go back to like episode like 300 to like 500
I know.
and just the ones that were almost ahead of their time, but now
Yes.
would resonate deeply and just pull out the things that you almost forget because we are doing so many conversations. We're batching. Sometimes we're doing a lot at once. We're on podcasts. So we just, everything resonates and integrates for us, but then also we kind of have to let a lot of it go to
Uh-huh.
be present for the next conversation. So, like, I'm excited to hear the old stuff that we maybe
Yes.
forgot about or missed.
Yeah, I think we just dropped like a Peter Kelly clip
Nice.
and
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh yeah.
Dude, always.
Oh, I forgot some like just getting that PETA medicine was
Always.
so nice the other morning. But continue to share with us. I've seen a lot of you tag Morning Microdose and Almost 30 when you're listening to this new podcast that we have out. And that's just so appreciated. Make sure you're subscribed. If you want to rate and review, we obviously love that as well. And just share with a friend. I think
Mhm.
that's like what I prefer.
Yeah, I think in the morning it's key what you were just explaining because I've even had that recently. It's like the morning gets a little hairy if I don't have things that are ready for me to sort of tap into. If I don't have A Course in Miracles or my tapping or, whatever it is that I'm doing, it's fine if I go down
Yeah.
a rabbit hole of whatever it is that, whatever happens. But it is key to have something on deck. So you're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm
It's a
going
little
to,
anchor.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, then, yeah, especially too, if I'm like, okay, I'm just going to check on Instagram to see what I should, or like
Totally.
YouTube,
Let me
like,
find some inspo on Instagram
yes,
for this morning.
100%. Like, let me find a quote.
You're like going for a quote and then you're like,
Honestly, then
oh
I'm seeing like a
God.
Fitspo model.
Yeah.
No, my whole algorithm is basically like cats. It's like
Oh, that's
cats in
great.
nature.
That's great. Yeah, mine's like
Cat
nature farms,
yes, cats in backpacks
all the
is like mine. There
things.
was a cat that was swimming the other day. I saw like this woman's like, "I take
So
my cat
cute.
swimming." I'm like, "I don't know if they like that." So then I'm like, it's so funny because people are like in drama comments of like The Bachelor, and I'm in like this cat swimming drama
You're
comment.
like,
I'm
I
like,
don't think she likes that.
literally, I'm like, she's running for the shore. I'm like, she's in survival mode. Like,
The Discover page tells you so much about someone, and sometimes I look away when I see
100.
someone's Discover page because 'cause I'm just like,
Same.
I feel uncomfortable.
It's a tender moment.
Especially dudes. You're just like,
Uh-huh.
"Ah, okay."
Yes, 100%. It is like, dudes, 100%. It's a tender, tender moment. Sometimes with Justin, I will look over. I'm like, "Hey, what are we doing?" I see
What are we
basketball
doing?
courts are like, but
TNA.
DNA
Just
literally, like,
kidding.
Instagram models. Oh my god.
I
Just
mean, with guys, I'm like, "Whatever, man.
whatever, dude.
Whatever, man."
Enjoy your life. Like, but it is weird because even sometimes I'll find myself looking at yeah, you just kind of get curious about something. Like this week I've been yeah, just you're kind of like, "Okay, what's going on with that situation or that
Mhm,
thing?" Even the
mhm,
Johnny Depp thing. When
mhm.
that trial was going on, I was totally immersed in it, and I was,
Yeah.
like, looking at all the pages to see people's opinions, like, I was totally
Yes.
under the spell.
Yes,
So someone would
totally.
have thought I was, like, a celebrity gossip connoisseur.
Yeah, I actually don't know what at one point, mine was, like, Haley and Justin.
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
I don't even look at them that much,
I totally.
but I love
They're
them.
not couple goals at all to me.
I love them, though.
I love them together.
Yeah, I just love whatever they're doing. I'm
I
like,
love whatever
"Whatever,
they're doing, but I
whatever."
don't feel like it's, like, inspo. She has no aura to me. Like, I look at her and I'm like,
Yeah.
"I appreciate you're beautiful, you seem cool," but there's literally no energetic field that I feel.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Well, I also don't know if they're allowed to you
Totally.
know what I mean?
Totally.
There's
Yeah.
something about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's for
Lots to say.
almost 30
Yeah,
after
yeah,
dark.
after dark. So it is September 29th, and it was a little more than a month ago that I got
Mhm.
married, um, which was just the wildest thing. In this episode today, I wanted to just recap the mainly the process leading
Mhm.
up to the wedding because it was super unique in that I planned it in 2.5 months. And I just felt so strongly, and so did Sean. Like we just my second sister had gotten married and I didn't want to wait a year and a half to get married. I was like, I just don't love the idea of sitting in the planning stage for so long. So I was like, why don't we do it by the end of the summer? And he was in, and our families jumped on board, and I made it happen. It's pretty wild. So I'm going over like pretty tactical tips,
Mhm.
but also like the emotional aspects
Mhm.
of getting married and the preparation there and the expectations and the societal pressures, expectations that are put or projected
Mhm.
onto brides and grooms and that whole thing that very I didn't really feel that much because I made a decision in the beginning that I would kind
Mhm.
of live outside of that, which was kind of part of the process. But people would be freaked out at how like not stressed I was. They're like, "So,
Mhm.
like, you're getting married, so is everything good?" And I'm like, it's totally fine. I'm feeling great." Um, there were snags in the process, but honestly, like I didn't have time to really like ruminate on anything, overthink anything. So I wanted to really go deep on the process leading up, and I'll give a little recap of the day as well.
It was the best. It
Yeah,
was so
special.
beautiful, and also, like, 2.5 months is kinda like should be the new standard.
I'm gonna do a campaign,
I think
but
it really should be.
besides having all the money up front, because you need to have it like now.
Yes, yes. Oh,
That's the only thing.
tell me more. So
So basically, like,
oh, that's
normally,
an
if you
issue.
plan
Got it.
it's not like it
Okay.
just is what it
Totally,
is. It's like if you plan for a year,
totally.
you can space out, "Oh, I'm gonna do
Okay.
this
I
month."
didn't even realize that.
They can do payment plans with different
Perfect.
vendors.
Mhm.
And with this one, it was just more like, "Gotta shell it out
Totally. Which is I
now."
also it's like just
Whatever.
yeah, whatever. What are you gonna do? But it did make it is weird to think about how long the process is because it is yeah, it's like, what is the point of that? But I remember even after our wedding, our Mackenzie, our planner, was in our room and she's like, "You guys are so chill." And I was like, "Should I be less chill?"
I
I
know.
was like, "Is that a problem?" Like, I just was like
Yeah.
Should I freak out?
It's like, well, I can imagine the planner probably has seen so many
Yes.
different flavors of brides,
Yes.
and you're just chilling. I was, like, super chill,
Sober
and so
chill.
it's almost like they don't know what to do with you because 'cause they're
Yes.
like, "Can I
Yes.
do anything?" And you're like,
Yes.
"Let's just have a good time.
Yes.
Handle what you have to handle."
Yes.
But I think that was so key because I think when you're getting any milestone like this, I think you're super magnetic or have the potential
Mhm.
to be super magnetic for good or for bad.
Mhm.
And so I was just really mindful
For
of
good or
like,
for bad is key.
yeah,
Could be
really
bad.
where my mind was going.
Mhm.
On the day of, for example, there were thunderstorms all day. They were rolling in and I was like seeing all the rain and it would like brighten up for a minute and then the rain would come back. But the whole time, and I had done some spells with Kiki and, offered gifts to the elements because it was really important to kind of bring in like the support of whether it's the elements, your ancestors,
Mhm.
your whole spirit team, because they're so pumped. They're so
Mhm.
pumped for you. So it was like in that moment that I was like, I could freak out. I could kind of go down that loop of like, oh my God, it's gonna rain. I've spent all this money. We're gonna have to
Mhm.
do it inside. But I really believe not only the spells, but also the just point of attraction of this day is beautiful. It's already
Mhm.
beautiful. Nothing can make it not beautiful. And I appreciate a clearing. Thank you so much for a
Mhm.
clearing today. We needed it. Like it was kind of hot and sticky. Now we have like kind of a more clear energy. So it ended up being beautiful and sunny
Yeah, it
and
wasn't
all the
I wouldn't
things.
have even thought that it would have stayed. There
Yeah.
was, like, no possibility of
Yeah.
it raining. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like, "It's not going to." There was nothing, but it was so beautiful, and it was so beautiful, just, like, you looked unbelievable. You guys both looked unbelievable. It was so much fun. Saturday was so much fun. I love
Mhm.
how much love you guys brought into it and all the people that shared you so much love, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
was just so nice, like, I mean, it was so powerful.
Yeah, it was really powerful to bring in family and friends into an experience that like he and I so carefully curated.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I led on Friday. I led the planning on Friday. Sean led on Saturday. And I explained this in the episode, but on Friday was a ceremony, small intimate dinner, and then Saturday was this like big party with dancing and food and just opportunities to really like get to know people and vibe it out. And um it was funny throughout the process, like, people being like, "So, like, what is this? Like, what?" Just kind of asking questions, which is fine,
Mhm,
but feeling kind of like the shaking up of, like, tradition
mhm,
in a sense, which for some people is hard, and they can't really wrap their minds around it, and they're kinda resistant to it, and then what I felt like the day of, especially on Saturday, was just this kinda clearing of what people think a celebration like that can and should look like, and almost like permission to, like, make whatever you do as far as celebrations in your life,
mhm,
like, your own.
mhm,
You don't have to do anything when it comes to weddings, baby shower, whatever, like, you can really make it your own, and I think that was, like, one of my favorite parts of the process was just, like, being creative and, like, making it our own and knowing that, like, he and I really worked together to create that experience for people.
mhm. Yeah, I think this is an episode for people about choosing yourself, choosing what you want, choosing, for you and your partner to choose your vision and like to stay clear about what it is that you want to create in life.
Yes.
So for anyone that's not getting married or not in the process, it still stands true.
Mhm.
And it's really the conscious choosing. And I think we were talking about it this weekend. It's like so interesting how like consciousness shows up where you're like, whoa, this is conscious.
Yes.
I'm making the conscious choice to engage in the drama, not engage in the drama,
Mhm.
engage in the expectations, not engage in the expectations, engage in everyone else's, whatever it is. It's like, how can you choose the experience that you want to create over and over again?
It's powerful. And you
Mhm.
can choose in every moment. Like, this
Yes.
process showed me
Yes.
every moment I can choose.
Yes.
Like, we are not
Mhm.
out of control. So it was powerful. I learned so much. So I'm gonna share that in this episode and I'll drop some like specifics on like, you know, You guys want to know where the flowers
Weight
are
loss
in this?
tips.
Yeah, the weight loss
Yeah, it's
tips
like if
and
you wanna get your wedding
where I got
ready.
my extensions.
Yeah, honestly. If you wanna get your wedding body ready, I've got you.
But thank you for listening. Thank you for being so supportive. If you have any questions about wedding stuff, the process, I'm here for you. You can DM me on Instagram at Lindsay Simsick. Should we change the handle? Should I get your approval soon?
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
Um,
Have you seen if it's available?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, we should check.
I'm pretty sure it would
You
be.
should save both
That's true.
because that's
Okay.
what I did when my old 100 blog. I have that account still, and it's like, "Please go to It's Krista," or it was Quista Lynn under
Quista.
Quista. So I was like, you kinda just pull them to the trail.
Yeah, I'll probably change it. Yeah, who knows? No rush, but I am changing my last name.
Fuck yeah.
Um, and make sure to subscribe to Almost 30 if you're not already. We have 600 episodes that you can dig into. Um, and we're just happy to support you in your evolution.
Yeah, we love you guys so much. Almost30.com. Almost 30 podcast on TikTok. Our TikTok
Mhm.
is incredible. We have so many quotes from amazing guests that you love. So get on the TikTok. And thank you for being a part of our community. We love you. We will see you on the other side.
Later.
Bye.
If you are a creator out there, a designer, say you are just putting any materials out to your newsletter list, your clients on your website, highly recommend trying out Issuu. Issuu. Ooh, it's the best. Okay, so if you're curious what Issuu is, this is an all-in-one platform to create and distribute beautiful digital content. So I can imagine that you are creating things and then like you're just sending out a PDF or uploading a PDF to your website. Well, no more. Digital content can be more fun, more beautiful. Basically, Issuu will take what you create once and transform it into marketing materials like magazines, flip books, brochures. It's beautiful. The experience of taking in the information and the content that you've created is just completely different than just a PDF. Issuu also works seamlessly with tools you already use like Canva and Dropbox and InDesign. So again, you make it once and distribute it everywhere without reformatting. You're basically able to just put it up on all the places you want to put it up. And Issuu helps you to optimize it, to make sure it is SEO friendly. Your content is already optimized for that engagement. How nice. It's all included. So Issuu helps creators, marketers, designers, and anyone who wants to make content that stands out. So if that is you, you can start using Issuu for free. They also offer a premium feature that gives a more customized experience, which is what we use. But you can start for free. So get started with Issuu, Issuu today for free. Or if you sign up for a premium account, you will get 50% off when you go to issuu.com/podcast and use the promo code almost30. That's issuu.com/podcast and use the promo code almost30 at checkout for your free account or 50% off your premium account. That's issuu.com/podcast, promo code almost30. Okay, so I'm getting married soon. I'm kind of keeping everything under wraps. It's just my style. But I wanted to share one thing I'm doing is taking my bouquet after the wedding, and I'm going to make it into a beautiful piece of art thanks to Pressed Bouquet Shop. Okay, so Krista did this, and I was obsessed with it. I'm going to send my fresh bouquet right after I get married, probably the next day, over to them at Pressed Bouquet, and they're going to press this into a resin and make a beautiful tray with these gorgeous gold handles. Y'all, it's going to be stunning. I'll show you ASAP. But I just think this makes the best gift for bride and groom. Even for the bridal party, you can take their bouquets and press them. It's unbelievable. Their ultimate goal is for you to just have your keepsake from your wedding in the most beautiful way. Their quality is unreal, sustainable, made by humans, which is so nice. And the ordering process is super, super easy. And you'll get this to your door in a timely manner. Okay, that's what we're all about. Easy and timely. If you're a bride, you know. If you want to try Press Bouquet, I highly recommend, and you can get 10% off using the code almost30 when you go to pressedbouquetshop.com. That's pressedbouquetshop.com. Use the code almost30 for 10% off.
Little known fact about me, I grew up with eczema most of my life. It was something that was incredibly uncomfortable. I remember when I was younger, I had to wear socks over my hands when I slept because I would scratch so much in my sleep. I
Mm.
would be bleeding. It just was so painful and uncomfortable. So I know what it's like to have eczema. And I remember anything that I put on my skin always had steroids. It never really felt like it was the cleanest or the most healthy for me. So I'm really glad to be working with a company called GladSkin to provide relief without steroids. It really helps to provide good bacteria to your skin microbiome to stop the itch and redness, to tame your inflammation, and really help your skin heal.
So, if you suffer with acne, with eczema, with rosacea, Gladskin is for you. So, I actually have not, but I have people in my family who have been suffering with eczema as well as rosacea. I have been acne prone, as you all know. So, Gladskin uses microbalance. This is a revolutionary protein that restores the balance of the good and bad bacteria that live on your skin so it can finally heal. It is so effective that 91% of users, adults and children, who tried their top selling eczema cream reported significant improvement after just 7 days. And again,
Wow.
this is steroid free. So this is for children, this is for adults, and they have actually a baby formula. Gladskin's new oatmeal free formula is non toxic and free of steroids and other common irritants. Pediatricians and dermatologists love Gladskin for every
I wish
little
I would
one.
have had
I
this. My life would
know.
be so different. My little skin.
So if you've been frustrated with your treatment options, don't wait to try Gladskin. They are offering our listeners 15% off plus free shipping on your first order at gladskin.com/almost30. That's GLADSKIN.com/almost30. That's gladskin.com/almost30 for 15% off plus free shipping. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another solo with me, Lindsay. I'm so honored, happy, grateful that you're here. This is a special one. I recently got married, as maybe you know, maybe you don't. It was something that I held quite close until after the wedding. Very much my style and my preference, but it was just the most beautiful initiation um, during the planning and the actual wedding itself. And I wanted to talk to you all today about this process because I felt so much going into this process of planning a wedding, which, by the way, I planned in 2.5 months with Sean. And we decided that, end of summer feels right. Let's do it. And I wanted to talk to you about all the things that could and try to intercept. Yeah, intercept this like flow between you and your joy and your true presence with all that is happening for you. There are family expectations, friends, opinions, judgments, projections, you name it. This is inevitable with probably every life milestone, right? Getting married, getting engaged, maybe getting a new job, your first job, perhaps starting your own business, having a baby. Truly, there will always be something in the ether that is trying to pull your attention away from the true essence of what this milestone or initiation really has for you. And I felt so strongly when we started planning this need to set my intention and make it really, really fucking clear and big. And I'm so glad I did. And it is something that was basically my anchor throughout the entire process. So, overview, I want to talk to you about that part of it, the energetics of this process and why I had the best time planning, why I had basically no stress leading up to and day of. I'm not perfect. Like, there were things that came up, but it was the way in which I was able to navigate that actually very much impressed me and blew my mind and showed me that it's possible. And I'm not saying any of this to like brag or be annoying. This is real and you can create it for yourself. I promise you. I'll also talk a little bit about some logistical tips, but we're really talking about the energetics here. Um, so, decided to start planning our special day at the beginning of June. And like I said, I really felt immediately kind of this like, oh, okay, what does everyone expect us to do? Right. Or what, what's my family going to think about planning it so soon? And all of these different questions and thoughts just started, flying at me. And I caught it. I was like, oh, wait a second. This is supposed to be like one of the most beautiful days of my life thus far. Why am I already trying to sabotage it by believing these thoughts that are coming in? So I cut the energy with a very big, simple intention. And that intention was my intention is to enjoy this process, to be present to this process, to expect magic and miracles, to navigate challenges with curiosity and thrill. And my intention is to keep the main thing, which is me and Sean and our love and our union. And I set this intention in meditation in like a little ceremony here at home. And y'all, it worked some magic. So I started on this planning journey, reaching out to vendors as you do. And everything just started to fall into place, though it was 2.5 months prior to the day, and many vendors are already booked. I allowed myself to intuitively navigate searching for and discovering these various vendors. First, I started with my vision. Like, is my vision clear for this day? Granted, it doesn't have to be the exact like flower and the exact this and that and location, but am I being specific and clear about how I want to feel? When I walk down the aisle, am I outside? Like, do I feel the breeze? Is the sun shining? Things like that. Um, I just started getting really specific about and allowed myself to dream beyond what I thought was quote, quote, possible. Cause the mind don't know. I've never done this before. I've never planned a wedding. So I only know what people have told me and what I've seen. But let me tell you, with anything that you're planning or preparing for, this is the only time you have ever gone through this for the first time. So, sure, people can give you advice, but at the end of the day, you are going to have a different experience because you are you. So, I really took that seriously throughout my process where anytime I, said should to myself or, oh, maybe we should, we should probably, I stopped myself because what I realized about planning our wedding was that this could be the most fun, expansive, creative process that I've done in a long time. So let's like rip, let's have fun, let's think outside of the box. And so I started to crystallize our vision. Sean and I worked together on this, which is an important piece I'll get to in a little bit. And then, because that was clear and I knew how it felt in my body, I was able to sift through these different vendors pretty swiftly. And those that were aligned and available on the day just dropped in. It was wild, and I know some of you are rolling your eyes like, "Okay, like, a little woo-woo here." Y'all, I'm telling you, until you do it and you commit to this type of process, you don't believe it until it happens, but it was happening and it was flowing. In the process of vendors kind of falling in and aligning, I realized that having a wedding in 2.5 months means you basically have to have all the monies up front. Can't do a payment plan, maybe a little bit, but not really. And so my relationship with money really shifted during this process, which I'm so thankful for. It really dissolved any attachments I had to mm, the limits around money and around my own money and what it can do and what it can afford me. And it really shifted my perspective on the flow of money in and out and the value of investing in something so important to you and so beautiful and expansive in itself. Um, I mean, I'm sure those of you that have planned a wedding or something like it know. It's like all of a sudden, you know, $500 becomes, quote, "nothing." I know it's not nothing, but, like, in the grand scheme of things, you're like, "Yeah, just add it, whatever." Which is just, so wild, but it was nice to not let myself get so wrapped up in the clenching of, "Oh, oh, another charge. Ooh, another charge." It felt really, really good to let it flow, because at the end of the day, um, and if I look back in my life at, like, my money flow, there's always money coming in and flowing out, like, that is just the natural way, and so just because a lot of money flowed out for this wedding, um, I know and I feel it now, just this deep, 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 big seed that was planted through that investment. And I'm just excited to see and experience what what pokes through the soil because of that trust and that investment. So I'm talking about flow. I'm talking about it being fun and easy. It was really important from the get go that I committed to that type of experience with Sean, with my partner. Um, I'm a Virgo. I like aesthetics. I like to control a little bit, admittedly. Um, and so the thought of really teaming up with Sean on like planning something like this, I was like, ooh, I know that I'm going to have some stuff come up because it's hard for me to let go of control. So, what we did was we actually split up the planning. So, I took the lead on Friday's planning and he took the lead on Saturday's planning. So, if you didn't catch it on Friday, I but I took the lead on planning. We did a ceremony, very intimate ceremony and dinner. We did a little dancing, but it was more so about the dinner and speeches and just connection. And it was just beautiful and intimate. And then on Saturday, we did a bigger party, if you will, with surprises and dancing and food galore and drinks flowing. And it was just wonderful. We called Saturday the Love Fest. And so he took the lead on Saturday, and I loved letting him lead. I, in general, love letting him lead. I think we do a really good job at that balance and dance when it comes to leading in certain areas of our relationship and life together. But it was such a good practice for me because I definitely had moments and we worked through them where I would like check in on his progress and like, oh, do you need this? Or how about and I had forgotten that we promised, like, if we need the other's insight or, co approval, that we would bring the other in, and I definitely brought him in on a lot of my stuff, and so did he, but every once in a while, I would kinda, like, cross that line because I was a little anxious about letting go of control, and y'all, I cannot tell you how good it felt to, show up on that day and just feel not only just so blown away, but so proud of him for planning and, um it was better than I could have ever imagined, I could have ever planned. So it was just really cool. It proved to me that, my way isn't always the best way. And it also just felt really nice to work together, like truly work together. So that is something that I highly recommend you doing, which is like partnering up, like delegating responsibilities in a real way, not just like giving your partner 15 to dos. Um, I think it's talking about like, so what's important to you? What's important to me? Where are our shared visions happening? Um, and just allowing the other to really step into their brilliance and step into their own leadership within the relationship um, is very, very important because I'm sure you know someone who completely took over, or maybe their parent completely took over, and it leaves the other in the relationship just feeling, and I've just observed this, so I don't know specifically, but it seems like they just feel left out, not really a part of it, and they show up on the day and it's like, "Huh, okay, this is my wedding." You know? Um, so I just think that's really important. So whether it's with your partner or if you both have support teams, of friends that you can kind of whether lean on, vent to, more importantly, have them keep you accountable to what your intention is and not let you get off track as far as, worrying about silly things that don't really matter. It's just really, really important because it becomes a whole world in your mind. Like you're thinking about it a lot. It is a huge percentage of your brain space when you're going through it. And that also expanded my understanding of how much I can handle because planning a wedding, in addition to like, doing what I normally do, I was like, oh, wow, I can handle quite a bit. But it's important to have that team and it's important to think of all this as team work, right? Awesome. Um, what I didn't realize is that my commitment to being present to the process and not just getting through it or taking things off was that there were like gifts for me throughout the process. There were layers that still needed to be shed before I said I do. And it was really, yeah, it was necessary. It was totally necessary, whether it was hard conversations that I had to have with people that are close to me, or, guest lists are always an interesting thing. And, who's speaking and all of these things where I had to get right within myself and be clear and true within myself. Um Which I hadn't always done. Like, sometimes you just default to what other people want or think you should do, and so this was, like, the ultimate test, and I knew I had to do it. Sean's always been really good at it, but, like, I knew I had to really, really do it this time because this was about, like, setting the tone for my marriage, my life. Like, how you do one thing is how you do everything, and that was so apparent to me in this process. And I really wanted to keep the waters clear and not muddy them with my, doubts and fears and insecurities and what have you. Like, I wanted to keep that water between me and Sean like super, super clear. So the layers had to be shed. The people pleaser. Ooh, last bits of the people pleaser down the river. She's gone. um it was wild, and it felt good. Oh my god, it felt so, so good to make decisions that I was like, that's for us. I love that. Heck yeah." Even if, I could if I really thought about it, there was 10 people that would have been like, What? You're doing it that way? It's a little untraditional." Like, all these things, but, oh, man, it felt so good to follow what felt good for us and not worry. So that was one of the layers that I thought was so very, very important. Throughout this process, I made sure to insert, schedule, commit to practices that would keep me just me and grounded and present. Quickly you can get swept up. Truly, you can get very, very swept up by the process. And it was important to me that I keep my, regular practices of meditation, of walking, of moving my body, of nourishing my body with whole foods and um, all of that. And I say that because sometimes big life event like this, like a wedding, there are those expectations of, okay, wedding body. Here we go. We're going to look our absolute best on our wedding day. Like no other day will we look better than our wedding day, which is not true. But yeah, it was a clear, clear, clear message for me very early on that I was just going to keep doing what I was doing. um because admittedly, I'm happy with how I feel. I'm happy with how I look. I did have like a few moments of like, should I get a little tox in the forehead, a little Botox in the forehead? Should I get this done, that done? The appointments, the temptation to schedule a million appointments is so real. Um, and interestingly, and there's literally no judgment, truly no judgment, because your girl's gotten Botox before I've done all the things. But it was interesting. I was not called to do it. It was so weird. I thought like I would. I thought I would do all the things before my wedding. And it was just such a funny feeling of why would I do anything extreme right before my wedding? Like, why would I do anything different if how I'm feeling now is I feel good. I like how I look. I like how I feel. I like how this dress looks on me. Why would I kind of go overboard just cuz it's my wedding? And that's not to say I didn't pamper and do nice things for myself like the week leading up and whatever. Like zero yeah, zero shame or shade around that. It's more so this idea that we are not good enough now. We have to be and look better on our wedding day. So, what extreme measures can we do to get there in this short amount of time? And it's just, yeah, I can't describe it other than like it was just a feeling I had that I wasn't going to do anything crazy. Um, I did, however, do Morpheus on my skin about a month. Yeah, I think it was a month before. And y'all, this was the exact lesson that I'm telling you. Don't do anything extreme, nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. If you're feeling good, do whatever, just keep doing what you're doing. And I was tempted to do this and ended up doing it based on a recommendation from a friend. And man, it, I don't regret it, but in the moment, my skin had a crazy flare up of acne afterwards. And I was so sad. I'm like, "Oh my god, I kinda knew. I kinda knew that I didn't need to do it. The reasons for doing it didn't really match up with my skin needs." It was just kind of a wild thing. She did a great job and it looks great. Like, I don't regret it in the long run, and I think the results really improve even more so over time. But right after, I was like, "Oh, wow. Okay." My skin was just like, "Yeah, we don't really need to do that." So it was just a lesson for me because I had a feeling. I had a feeling about it, and let me tell you, your intuition will tune the fuck up during this process or any other big life moment process. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild, and it was very clear to me. Speaking of intuition, I had, many intuitive hits around, yeah, just alignment when it came to working with people through this process, and Sean and I are both incredibly, sensitive to that, where, yeah, we just pick up on energy, and if it doesn't feel right, we're like, "Nope." So it was, for example, it showed up in, my process of finding someone to do my hair. Y'all, I found my hairstylist a week before. I don't recommend it because it was tiny bit stressful, but I did trust that I would find someone, and I did, and it was perfect, and she was spectacular. Her name is Mickey, Michaela, and, I'll link her in the show notes, but she's phenomenal at Mickey dot hair. I think it's Miiki dot hair. Phenomenal. But before that, I had a few wedding trials. Wedding trials. Mm. I have a lot to say about wedding trials. That's for another episode. Way too expensive. And you say wedding, and the person doing your hair and makeup just does the wedding thing. And I didn't want like the wedding look. I can't describe it. It's like the same eyeshadow, the same lip. It's very weird. My hair looked wet. It looked like a helmet. No, not criticizing the person's work, but more so the vision just was not translating. And I think there was that misalignment with like really communicating and connecting because once I found the connection with my hair and makeup person, two different people, it was like night and day. We just flowed. They got it. I was like over the moon and it showed. It showed in the look. Um but anyway, in my second trial, I was getting really close, 2 weeks away, not even. And I was like, "I think I have to say yes. Like, this is fine. I kind of like it. Maybe we can improve it on the day of, but yeah, I guess we're gonna do this." And then later that day, it was a clear no. And it wasn't just like the product of what this person had done for my hair. There were some energetic layers to this that just didn't feel aligned because I was like, how do I want to feel on the day of my wedding? How do I want to feel? Who do I want to be around me? Um, which I'll get to in a moment. And it was just clear that that wasn't in alignment. That person was not supposed to be there. So, in saying no to that person, I made room for Mickey to come in, and it was just so amazing. Pepper Bee did my makeup, Downtown Pepper B on Instagram. She's phenomenal. She also has like crystal shop and synchronistically we connected around crystals and she ended up sourcing crystals for my wedding for the altar. It was just it's like that type of magic that happens when you say yes to things that are in alignment and no to those that are not. Like that is what I was experiencing. It was so wild. There are so many spirals that you can find yourself in when it comes to planning a wedding. So I want to talk about that a little bit because it's tempting. It's tempting to spiral down. It's tempting to get really lost in the melodrama of it all. But there is a way to exist and really thrive above that, above these like very strong pulls toward more of just a negative lens or looking for what is wrong or getting caught up in other people's expectations or societal expectations. It's really easy. I think the mind does a really good job of finding those things. um and I actually talked to someone the other day who had just gotten engaged, and in describing the way that they were feeling in this moment, post engagement and like already planning the wedding, everything that they were describing had a negative um, spin to it. It was just like the stress, the pressure, the expectations, and I could feel the energy of a spiral. And just of this like heaviness around what, again, is supposed to be a day that you look fondly upon and had a great time, and hopefully the process of planning it too. So it was just so apparent to me that um this is bigger than us, at times, right? Like this just energy around weddings. And so I was really excited to break that for myself and maybe even for those that were in attendance. Um, I think I've probably freaked some people out with how like just I don't know if calm's the word, but I was just like really enjoying the process and everything. And I don't know, like people would call me and be like, "Hey, are you okay? I know you're planning a wedding. Like, are you okay? You need anything?" And which is so kind and sweet. But it was like this expectation that I was like going crazy. And I just want us to notice that. I want us to notice that default to spiral down. We could be spiraling up. And how do we do that? Um, I was very diligent about revisiting my vision almost every day. Um, and the vision includes not only like what you see, but it's really what you feel is what I think is most important. And so on my walks, um, conveniently, my walks sometimes would take me past the venue because the venue was like right on the water in Brooklyn. And I would put on like the song that we were going to walk down the aisle to, or just a song that made me think of Sean. And I would just like really allow myself to feel all the beautiful things that I feel about our relationship and about the fact that we are getting married and starting our life together. And um, I think it's really important that vibrationally we remind ourselves what the main thing is. And that's like the top tip that Sean and I have been giving. Keep the main thing. Because there's a lot of little things that can try to be the main thing, but they're not the main thing, okay? Um, so it was really important for me to find vibrationally that feeling that I know that I deserve to experience and that I want to experience. How do I get there before it arrives? And so that really helped me to take walks and put on music and just like, yeah, feel what feel like to walk down the aisle. And I swear to you, y'all, everything. Just about everything. There were some surprises to me in the best way, but, like, it it was what I vibrationally felt, and it just, like, arrived in my reality. It was so crazy. I remember right before I walked down the aisle with my dad, or as we were walking down the aisle, and I just saw from afar everyone standing up and Sean at the end of the aisle and the sun peeking through, like, the bridge and the tree and glistening on the water. And I had seen that. I literally, that moment was a part of my visualization, vibrationalization experience leading up to the wedding. And so sometimes I just feel like we need to allow ourselves to feel that way before the actual day. And that's kind of the magic of it. Um, so I highly recommend that. I highly recommend having difficult conversations, maybe difficult, maybe not, maybe just direct from the get go with people that you feel as though might be, yeah, might pull you from your center or might be putting pressure on you or have a history of sharing their opinions unsolicited or judgments. And I think in one way or another, sharing your intention for how you want to feel and experience this and your, whatever else you want to share is really important. So, for example, if you say to, your parents, like, mom and dad, I'm so excited to uh, plan this wedding, sharing this experience with you. And I've committed to having fun and not stressing. And I've also committed to doing what really feels good to me and my partner. Like we are committed to our vision. Even if it's a little bit outside of the box or not what you expect, we're committed to it. So I just wanted to tell you that now because I know there might be some moments where you're like, huh, you're going to do that, but we're gonna do what feels good to us, and that's for the greatest and highest good of all, y'all. So So I think it's really important. Like, just share that from the get. I know it's a little weird, a little uncomfortable, a little out of the ordinary. Just do it. You'll feel better. And those people can't say that they didn't know. You know what I mean? Plus, that just builds your confidence to advocate for yourself from the get go. And I think that is so important to advocate for yourself through this process, especially on the day. So that brings me to, how I wanted to feel on the day and really creating that vortex, if you will. And most of the day, so I spent the night with Sean the night before, non-traditional. People normally don't do that, but we slept at home. We were home in Brooklyn, and I loved waking up next to him. I loved having a little morning to ourselves, and then I went on a walk with my mom and sisters. I wanted to spend time with them, just like, yeah, just like getting the good feelings and have a breakfast sandwich and, yeah, just hang. And then I came home, I took a shower. I think Sean was kinda, like, not getting ready, but he was just kinda doing his thing. Some of his friends popped over to say hi and help him prep with some stuff. And then my hair and makeup came by and, came over, and they were the only ones that I was with and getting ready. Like, Sean was kinda getting ready in the other room. We were, in each other's, like, space, but not really checking each other out. Um, and then my planner came over, and eventually the photographer and videographer came right before I got in the dress. So that was important to me. I didn't want the hubbub of the cameras in my face for hours before I put my dress on. It's just not my vibe. And I had to be really clear with like my vendors about that stuff too. Like, I don't want this. This is important to me. And they were totally amazing. Just a shout out photographer is Natalia Wajda. She's amazing. Also, Mariah Soto and her husband Gio, they have a video studio, AV. They're phenomenal. They're phenomenal and just like the best energy. Both photographer and videographers just were incredible. So when they arrived, it was just like, okay, we started the party. It was fun. I got right in my dress and we just got to it. Went up, did the first look. We did the first look on our roof, which was beautiful. So I'm saying all this um, mainly because this is what we wanted to do, And, I didn't get ready with anyone, not even my family was there, which, was a decision that had nothing to do with my family and more so to do with just like me wanting to, um, yeah, just kind of be in my own energy for the day. It was just something that was important to me. I love my family and my sisters and my mom, who I would like normally get ready with if it, you know, at other wedding celebrations, but, I just wanted to be in my own energy, and that was it. So, it was really special. We did, like, a pre-ceremony hang with very close family and friends for photos and things at this space. So that for me was, like, a beautiful, like, first look with my family and friends, and it was just so, so fun. So I loved how we did that, and, um, as I said, Sean and I did first look on the roof, and it was just beautiful. We got 2 minutes without the rain, and then it started raining again, and then it just cleared up beautifully for the wedding. So, um, you know, on that note of rain, things are going to happen, right? Things are going to happen. We're not after perfect when it comes to your wedding day. I know it's hard not to think about having everything be perfect, but again, keep the main thing the main thing. With the weather, it was like storming all day on and off. And I was like, wow. I was trying to do like weather magic, like a little witch, which I think worked. And it worked out perfectly. It cleared up and it was bright and beautiful the moment I walked down the aisle. Like it was wonderful. But during the day, like my mind was like, oh no, what if it's raining? Then we have to do it inside. This is not my vision. And, I had Abraham Hicks in my ears, and I was like, "We gotta let it go. Gotta let go. Forget it. Forget it. Set your intention, ask for what you want, and then forget it." And it worked out. So we're not after perfection on this day. We are after fun. We are after connection. We are after presence. That's the ultimate, right? Because when you're so present on this day, like you're not going to miss like the most sweet, small, beautiful things, which I think compound to just be a wonderful experience. Oh, the best. The best, the best. Um, so How are we feeling? We're okay? So again, this applies to really any big life milestone. I'm so excited for us as we just keep on living and keep on navigating these things and keep on taking our power back, reclaiming our power in these moments and reclaiming who we really are in these moments. We don't have to do what everyone does. We don't have to, give in to these expectations, societal or familial or whatever. Like you can do it the way you want because why? You are a creator. You're the ultimate creator. It's a beautiful opportunity to create what you desire. And what better way to practice that power than in a personal life milestone? That's why I feel, and I'll conclude around here, that our wedding was such a portal of manifestation for us on so many levels. My friend, Alex, you know her as the high priestess of Brooklyn on of BK on, Instagram. She's an incredible astrologer, phenomenal. Go book with her. She's wonderful, funny, smart, just the best. And she did a marriage reading for Sean and I, looking at the astrology for the day. And if I do say so myself, it was a amazing day to get married. And so, a lot of what she was saying confirmed just how I felt about how powerful it was to be witnessed by our close family and friends, to celebrate in the way that we did, and really keep what's important to us as a focus. And just how that really, it's like you hit a bell and it just kind of reverberates through our lifetime of like, this is how it's going to be. This is the baseline. We do this always and more. It was really something I'll never forget, and I will always hold as a standard for us and how we navigate things. Final is that, I mentioned that we did a big party on Saturday, and it was just, a magnificent celebration. Did a little differently in the sense that it was at this beautiful, venue. It's called Legacy Records. It's in New York City, and, man, oh man, they just did a phenomenal job of creating a flow in the space. The space is quite big, but we had a crazy, like, just adventure from 3 to 10 p.m. So at 3, we had welcome drinks. At 4 to 5, we had speeches, from a bunch of our family and friends, and then into, a surprise. So I had this vision to bring Sunday service choir, which Sean and I listen to all the time and love deeply, to our, Love Fest. And so, long story short, I touched base with a friend of mine. I got a ping from God that was like, "What about Latoya?" Latoya, who is the host of the Analog Girl podcast, you must check it out. She is one of the funniest people I know, one of the most honest people I know. I think she is a star destined for huge things. But she sings at her church. She has an incredible voice, and she used to work in the music industry. And I told her, I was like, "This is kind of what I'm envisioning. Do you have any ideas? Do you know anyone?" She literally put this group of 8 singers, 3 to 4 musicians together in 2 days. 2 days. Like, the Lord was at work. She is an angel from heaven. And honestly, y'all, they got to rehearsing right away. They had 4 to 5 rehearsals before the main day. I got to join them in rehearsal because one of my visions as well was to sing with the choir. I sang the song that we walked down the aisle to. It was all literally, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Another proof that I can bring my visions to life, and so can you. Like, it was just it proved to me so many things. It also proved to me the power of when people come together with their talent and their hearts, like, they cared. They were so excited to do this, and it was felt. I mean, people were so moved, like, God was in the room, there is no doubt about it. So, um, that was something else that we did that was, like, kind of out of the ordinary. We were so excited to surprise people with, and Sean was excited or surprised that I sang. And, again, that really set the tone. I feel like that was like, "Ooh, wow." for me, for being up there and singing again and just feeling what I haven't felt in a while, when it comes to performing, but I don't wanna say performing in the sense that it wasn't me, it was, like, so me it hurt. And I'm like, "More of that, more of that." That experience was like, "You can and deserve more of that." So that was really profound, and to have Sean see me do that and our family and friends see me do that, and just to see us kind of connect in that way, and just have God in the center of our relationship. It was wow, y'all. I'm rambling now, but it was the best. So what I want to give you permission to do is anything that you want to do when it comes to your life. You can plan and do and create anything that you want to. What is stopping you? Let's be clear about it. Who is stopping you? What thoughts, what beliefs, what assumptions, what fears? And it's not that those are bad and that you are ill equipped because you have those, but let's just shine a light on them, get really, really honest so that we can clear them because you are destined to create and be magnificent and be expressive and really enjoy these huge milestones. Why are we doing them if we're miserable through them, right? Absolutely not. We deserve to fully embrace these times, even if they have ups and downs, because those ups and downs are a part of the process. We know that in our hearts. We know that in our hearts. So don't let it knock you off your center. You hear me? This is a wild initiation. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. And thank you for listening. I know I don't share, every little detail of my life. It's very on purpose that I don't do that. And I want to encourage you to keep things sacred too, if you want to. If you don't want to share, if you don't want to share with your friends or family or even on social media, like you can keep things sacred. So I'm giving myself that permission over and over again. I love you all. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. You can DM me on Instagram at Lindsay Simsick if you have questions or just were moved by anything that I said, or yeah, just curious about anything that I said. I'm here for you, and I will see you on the next one.
Thank you so much, Linz. And there are other episodes you can listen to with Lindsay and Sean. That is episode 350, I know from the wedding, and then episode number
Episode, it just came out the other day, episode 543. So
episode 543.
2 years apart, a little update, but thank you all for listening. We appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed to our new podcast, Morning Microdose, make sure you do right now. This is to prime you in the morning with short form content that we've curated from our Vortex moments on Almost 30. You are going to love it. It'll be a perfect addition to your morning routine. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Almost 30 Podcast. I'm at Lindsay Simsick.
I'm at It's Krista.
And thank you to our sponsors. We appreciate all of our sponsors and we vet them for you. So don't worry. We have discount codes on our website, almost30.com, as well as in our show notes. We will see you on the next one, babies.
We'll see you guys soon. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.